This week we are talking about our favorite characters. For now, I'm going to tell you up front that I have no intentions whatsoever to rank them because this is such a broad category, just favorite characters in general. For today's video, you're going to get an unordered list and my one actual favorite. That's the only ranking that will happen in this video. One day we'll start doing slightly more specific lists and then I will consider actually ranking them. I've been thinking about this topic all day and just sort of casually scribbling names down in my notebook. This topic was suggested in the comments and it seemed like a good and easy one for me to go with because I'm currently reading my favorite books, the His Dark Materials series, and those are all my favorite characters. I love all of those characters the best forever and ever. There are a lot of movies and TV shows that I consider among my favorites but which don't necessarily have any characters that I would have put on this list. I haven't really thought enough about this to have any deep commentary on this subject, just that I thought it was interesting that there are a lot of things that I love, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Fight Club and The Americans, just to name the first three things that came to mind that are among my favorites, but for which I have no characters to add to this list. It's not that I don't like any of those characters, I just don't love them deep in my heart of hearts like these characters. The list! Lyra, Yorick Vernison, and Will, all from the His Dark Materials books. Buffy Summers from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Leslie Knope and Ben Wyatt from Parks and Recreation. Veronica Mars and Keith Mars from Veronica Mars. Sansa Stark. Verity from Codename Verity. I don't want to say anything. I feel like saying any words about Codename Verity other than this is a really good book is a spoiler. I have no... but I love her. Gatsby with a question mark by his name. Luna Lovegood and Sirius Black. That's literally just a list of names that came to me while I was working today. Part of why I got super hung up on this is because my number one favorite character, and it's a super tight, close, I kind of want to say two characters at the same time, but Lyra is my favorite character. I made a whole separate video on my own channel about 2 years ago, the last time that I was rereading these books, about why I love Lyra and Will so much, and I will put a link to that rather than rehashing all of that because there's just not time. The concise version and the reason that I'm sort of anxious about the idea of putting any other names on a list that begins with hers is that my feelings for her and Will are like maternal. I don't know any other way to explain it than that, and I think I said this in the video that I made 2 years ago too. I love her. I love her so much. I kind of got caught up in that when I was trying to think of these other characters that I loved because that's just this whole other level of love for a character. How do I go from that to like other characters that I love in a slightly more rational way? The other thing that I noticed as I was putting together names for this list is that I kept coming up with character names that while I love them a great deal individually, the thing that I truly love most is their relationship with other characters. Even that list is kind of a cheat, like Yorick and Ben and Keith, actually all the dudes on that list. As for unifying themes among these characters, I think there's definitely, obviously, it's an overwhelmingly female list. Women who kick ass and take names. I think anybody who's been reading along with the Game of Thrones recaps can probably guess that Sansa's very much on this list because she's made me rethink a lot of how I feel about that. I'm probably always going to do this really annoyingly meta thing where I talk about the prompt as a concept rather than answering a direct question. You have to understand that I spent the last several months of my life working on a project wherein I had to dedicate like 5 or 6 pages to why I was gonna use one word instead of another word. I say that like any of that's surprising. I mean, that's like actually this blog. We do that on this blog all the time. One day I will actually address sort of specific concrete lists and do that as a thing. Lorraine, I look forward to hearing about all of your favorite characters on Friday.